I'm Belle Lawrence, Associate Director at Immediate Future, and today's Serious Social is focused on community. So I've been wondering whether, as the current climate is changing, whether we are seeing the word community in a different way, whether our perception of what that word means is changing. Obviously, it's no surprise to everyone that digital attention is at an all-time high. Kantar have just reported that there's a 70% increase in web browsing, and social media engagement has increased 61% over normal usage. But it's not just online. So it might be like me, you have a WhatsApp group with your neighbours and your community is growing in your local area. We're all waving to passers-by, and we're looking for rainbows in windows as we go on our daily walks, and we're all clapping in unison for the NHS heroes every week on a Thursday. So we're part of a big community with a common set of values, and we're putting our trust in leaders, but also brands and influencers to look after us. And our trust in them is what our survival depends on. So this situation is naturally building a strong sense of community. And a key component of what constitutes community is support. So it makes sense in this challenging world that we're living in, that we're seeking support a lot of the time. And the business community has really sprang into action with more webinars and live sessions like this than you've ever seen before or that you could ever join. But we're all part of multiple tribes as well. So it's not just business. You might go from watching a session like this to joining a chat on House Party with some of your friends to talk about what you're going to cook out of your store cupboard for the weekend meals. So to engage, brands really need to think about the reasons why someone's going to engage with you, specifically you and not everybody else. And you could be considering reciprocity, so giving and then giving back, making sure that you're sharing helpful tips, but that they are also sharing with you and you can share that on. Authority is really important. You should be using your thought leaders, using your experts as and when you can and when they're available to you. And being consistent. So consistency is really important. Don't just disappear. Unless you're working for a brand, which, it really is impossible to communicate with people right now, it is so important that you don't disappear from view. Support I've already mentioned, but think about it in the smaller ways as well. So you could be liking and sharing your partner's posts, your charity that you work with as a brand, perhaps from a CSR point of view, but you might also be just liking and following some of your followers, your audience, in small ways, which may have seemed insignificant in the past, may have just seemed, pointless. But now that engagement is going to loom really large in our digital lives. And then finally, unity. Think about that. We know that people make decisions, and buying decisions particularly, very often based on recommendations from friends and family, because the friends and family element gives us reassurance, it gives us unity. So make sure that you're considering how to unify your community. The good news is that social media gives us a wonderful way to do things for our community. In recent years, sometimes the social media has had a bit of a bad reputation and, been seen as an antisocial force. And yes, there are still some trolls and there's still some fake news out there to contend with, but the channels are working really hard to try and reduce that. Twitter chief exec Jack Dorsey spoke recently about the health crisis, and he said, leaders are now part of professional communities, and that public conversation can help the world learn faster. And the best way to learn is to listen to your audience. So it really is time for that Twitter list. Build it. It's time to make sure that you're following relevant brands from your brand page on Facebook. And it's time to click that hashtag on LinkedIn to start to understand really where to build your community. And that might be a brand new channel. It could be, if, like me, you've recently joined TikTok. You may also know World Health Organization have joined because they can now reach a wider audience through TikTok, which is really important because there's been exponential growth from all demographics, not just one. And we need to consider who the audience might be. They might be brand new to social actually, and they've never used it before. So important to think about them and how we can communicate with them. The hashtag with me has been trending on YouTube as recognisable celebrities that we're familiar with and influencers are giving us even more of a window into their daily lives. So thanks, celebs. Really appreciate your dedication. Because sharing really is caring. Yes, retweet that message about hand washing and about staying home. But as brands, how else can you help? A study from GWI has shown that 80% of users approve brands messaging, sharing practical information. So could you be creating a new group? Could you use a historical story from your brand's past, maybe told in an interactive way as an option for parents who are homeschooling? Or maybe it's just hair care tips, because some of us might be missing the hairdressers just a little bit. The bottom line is figure out how to stay in touch. Ask what the audience wants as well. Don't be afraid to ask that. Creating new content can be a bit of a challenge right now. Totally get that. We can't go out. But you're missing a trick if you are not sweating the assets that you already have. What is in your archive? What have you used before that could be repurposed and refreshed? Could you work with a partner? Perhaps combine forces. Maybe you've got some images, they've got some video that you can put together, and then you'll both benefit from additional reach by tagging each other. Helpful tips that I just mentioned are really great, but we all need a break as well. And 70% of users also approve brands sharing entertaining content. So we're all spending more time on those messengers sharing the entertaining content across dark social. There's been a big increase in usage across all messaging platforms, but it's been the biggest in the 18 to 34 age group. WhatsApp, Facebook and Instagram have all experienced a 40% rise in usage from under 35s, but where the youngsters lead, the rest will follow. So they won't stop sharing after all of this is over. They'll have learned how to. So look for entertaining content and look for shareable memes and jokes and even just sentimental words to cheer people up. But obviously be cautious and use your gut instinct to make sure that you're appropriate with what you're sharing. We've been seeing the art sector really step up in this regard, which is kind of obvious, I guess they would, but they've been amazing. So Andrew Lloyd Webber is streaming all of his musicals on YouTube. The Art Society are running lectures online, and Amdram groups up and down the country are experimenting with live play readings and poetry readings. So they're truly leaving a light on the stage in the dark. I recently wrote a blog post about that, which if you'd like to read it, you can hop onto our website, immediatefuture.co.uk. But I will warn you, you might get a little Belinda Carlisle earworm after you've read it. Enjoy. So to summarise, listen to your audience, really key. Ask them what they want. Think about how you can help and how you can entertain, and sweat your assets to really build your digital community. Don't forget to ask your community to engage. Ask them to feed back to you. You need to be part of the community as a brand. So it's not just a one-way flow. Social media is replacing some of the physical proximity that we're all missing, and brands have a real chance to be part of something meaningful right now.